The concept of the houses is interesting because they all have, each house has like, or the people in the houses have very
Wait, sorry, what houses?
the Hogwarts houses.
Yeah. Oh, okay, go.
They all have like positive characteristics or attributes, but then they're like put into this box, and they're the most of the time they're always just surrounded by the people who are similar to them, because they were also put in these like one of 4 boxes or categories. Instead, I feel like they should have had more time to all like blend together and mesh together, especially when you're 11 years old, and they would all be better wizards if they...
No, but actually, hold on a sec. If we think about it from a schooling perspective, right, for education, isn't that smart? If you have different kids who think differently, who like have a different approach to education, like you don't want to bundle everybody up in one like classroom, let's say, and teach them all the same way.
But they all share classes. She's saying that outside of class, you're basically encouraged to just chill with people from your house. And you have times where you're forced into the common rooms, and a lot of time is spent in the in the common rooms in the books that you don't really see on film as much. Yeah. But they it's like a chill pad, and you're encouraged to stay there.
I think I'm gonna kind of push back on that, because I think it's a good thing that they get put in these houses, because either way they're gonna hang out with those guys. Like either way. So it's like an easier way
to just put together people who are destined to be friends.
Yeah. So it's like what you're gonna do. What happens if, let's say, you integrate everyone together? Yeah, you're gonna be friends with people from Gryffindor, from Hufflepuff, whatever. If you're a Slytherin, but if you bundle everyone from Slytherin together, then what ends up happening is like they create a stronger bond together. And yeah, it's kind of like the fuck those guys attitude, but also it kind of makes better students and better wizards ultimately, because they have to compete against each other to see who's going to do better.
Yeah, but then it kind of just put all the like supremacists together.
Yeah,
they became the like almost not everyone in Slytherin is a Death Eater, but you notice how almost every Death Eater was from Slytherin. Yeah. If they were from Hogwarts at all. If that's where they got their
very
education.
anti-pureblood, my friend. That's
wrong. But hold on a second, Anita, what do you have to say about that, though?
Was it a smart schooling structure?
But what do you have to say about it?
Oh, is it? Me talking in French. It has like positive arguments and like cons as well. Maybe it was easier for them to be friends if they see a part of themselves in someone else. But it's like, are you able to learn as much if you're just surrounded by some people who are exactly just like you?
Yeah. I understand what you mean, because it feels like a kind of like an echo chamber of sorts.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what the books wouldn't even showcase, which again, that's just going into hypothetically, do they spend time with other people outside of their house? Yes. The percentage of it, we don't know, obviously. So
maybe it would have been better if they had the houses for like maybe like years like 1 to 3 or something, and then kind of like a middle school, high school structure almost. So like how they have like 2-3 years where so they would have 2-3 years where it's just them getting on their feet, solidifying friendships through being in the same house and such, and then from there years 4 to 7 you could like not like have the houses be just for years 1 to 3. And then maybe that's a better way to do it. And so this way you have people being able to get comfortable and make their friendships, but then they're also not hindered later on in their adolescence from interacting and mingling with people who've been raised differently than they were.
But it's funny though, right? Because it's like when you grow up and then you go into like the real world, right? You need to deal with a lot of people with different personalities, and I think it's also more advantageous to be around people that are not like you because of their different skill sets, their different viewpoints, and I feel like it's easier to progress forward that way too. So it's like, I think it's weird, like the more I think about it, that like you bundle up all these people with the same like features and characteristics together, and it's like you have that separation. But I don't know, it's
there are definitely pros and cons.
I
didn't think this video was going to turn into like a top 10 ways we can improve Hogwarts.
Auden and I basically grew up like that. Auden, and like so, like in our high school experience, you're basically cluttered with the same 30 to 40 people. Even if you're grouped into different classes, you're basically growing up in the exact same space and hanging out in the exact same spaces on your downtime or in class with the same 20 people from like, it could be anywhere from ages like you could be as young as like 4 years old to 17 years old, or you could be going in, if you're just looking at high school, from like ages 11 to 17. You're 11, 12 to 17. So like I think so, like from personal experience, I feel like a lot of learning how to actually socially interact had to come from outside of school, whereas when you have a higher student body and you're forced to mingle with a larger population there in your school, you really get a better sense of what real life's actually like. I think that's a huge plus for people who've been raised in public schools. That's one thing I don't think you could take away from people who are raised in public school. You really know how to. You're far better prepared for what's actually out there, I think.
We're like, the conversation went this way. We're like,
Hogwarts is a society.
I was just about to delve in there because
now just like the rest of the show, it's gonna
Harry lives in a society.
It's gonna cycle back.
So, Pops, how does that make you a good person?
Are we doing psychoanalysis right now?
Do you think like oh my god, what's the house's name? Slytherin Kids would be. Do you think
the
more?
logo's
the way. Oh
Sorry.
my god!
Sorry.
Jesus.
Sorry.
What are they saying? Do you think more Slytherin kids, or in general, would be less cunning or less assholey if they spent more time with like students from other houses?
Yeah, they'd probably be getting baked with the Hufflepuff kids. That's why it's called
Hufflepuff.
That's why they're so friendly. They're just Hufflepuffing all day.
Hufflepuff or just like
But they also have the perfect situation because their house is their common room is situated right next to the kitchen.
Yes, true.
So when they get the munchies,
Yes.
does he know these
when you get the munchies, where do you think you're gonna go? To the kitchen. And who's gonna help you? Fred and George from Gryffindor, obviously, but still.
And then you're gonna use yoga fire to blaze it up.
Also, I don't know if this is just me misremembering, but I think they start exploring the other houses a little more in Goblet of Fire, I think, with the Triwizard Tournament. Right? I think what is it? Oh no, we see the Slytherin common room in the second book.
Yeah.
Right? And then I think they make it a point with Cedric, the introduction of Cedric Diggory, like about how Hufflepuffs are the ones who, out of all the houses, they foster the most relationships with people in other houses instead of just staying to themselves.
Yeah.
So I think like they're probably like more prepared for actually like whatever's ready for in the rest of the world, and they're not as echo chambery because they have friends from Gryffindor, from Ravenclaw.
I think the issue. Well, I think everyone kind of. It's not that they're not friendly. It's just that like they just keep their distance. If you look at like Cedric Diggory and Harry, like they kind of hit it off pretty well. Mm-hmm. Not in like a. Anyways,
Platonic relationship.
They platonically hit it off, and there's no fan.
I'm Team Edward. I'm just gonna say that from now.
Wrong.
So, no, they hit it off pretty well. Like they were pretty good friends, and like Cedric was helping him out and all that. It's like, yeah, don't worry, buddy, I got you. But I think it's just like because Slytherin specifically that year at least was like filled with so many dickheads, like Malfoy,
Crab and Goyle,
Potter.
I love you guys on the same wavelength.